Happy spring to you all. Hope you're doing okay throughout the last couple of weeks. I know it's been very intense energies. So, challenges are opportunities to be strong and grow. I sat there with this tree actually yesterday, and I said to the universe, how can I not be so afraid of all the things that I'm yet to face? Because you know what it's like when you start thinking about the future, then you're causing yourself anxiety that's not even worthwhile, because when you do experience the thing that you're thinking about, it's always better than what you think it's going to be, right? Still though, it doesn't seem to stop the fear of the unknown that's going to happen. And so what I heard was, challenges are opportunities to be strong. And what this means to me is that if you were just to continue feeling really good about life, feeling really safe and secure and just happy, don't get me wrong, we all strive to feel that way, and it's so important to have days that are just filled with peace and joy. But after 3 or 4 days of that, or maybe a week or two of that, you start to notice something. The thing that you notice, or at least that I've noticed, is that you might get a bit bored, which is fine, you can deal with that, there's always something new to do. But next what starts to happen is you might become a bit ungrateful. And if you don't necessarily become ungrateful because you've been able to wire it into your consciousness to always be grateful, because you know how much of a gift being grateful is for things and how it attracts more things to be grateful for, you might start to become a little bit, well, what's next type of thing. Spoilt's not the word, but we're always looking for more, and that's part of our human nature, and that's okay. But I know myself, I started to think, well, yeah, my life is good, but I could definitely have more. And there's something about this that takes away the humbleness that challenges are able to give us. So when I say that challenges are opportunities for us to be strong, we don't have that opportunity to be strong prior to the challenge happening, and so we don't ever really know our own strength until we go through those situations. And I can tell you, at least from my experience, being strong and growing as a person and being grateful for what you have, but more so being strong, feeling strong in your mind, in your body, in your spirit, all of it, in your soul, is one of the best feelings in the world. But it's usually precipitated by not so good feelings, right? But every single time, every single day, there's little increments of betterment that's happening for us. So I really wanted to share that with you, because I haven't shared anything in a little while. So on the 23rd of March was the tree meditation, which was on Saturday, and today's Monday actually. So I want to talk to you a little bit about my experiences and tie all of that in together. One of the key things that I got from the tree meditation that I wanted to share with you, and I invite you all now to share your experiences of the tree meditation in the comments below. I would love to hear about your experiences. And please remember, folks, that this tree meditation is forever. You can go out every single day now and meditate with the trees, right? I've already been coming out every day to speak with the trees, mainly because I always come out every day to feed the birds. So it was already in my routine to do that. But the 23rd of March was special because I knew that I'd told so many of you that this was what we were all going to do, and I could feel on that day the energy that was present of just knowing that so many of you were probably going to be joining me on this day, even if it was at different times during the day. And what I did is I actually sat next to this tree all day. So it was a beautiful Saturday afternoon in the sun, and I sat meditating with the tree, but I can't say that I did a ritual, so to speak, other than just having my bare feet on the ground and just trying to connect with the trees. And this is what works for me. Sometimes I find that rigid rituals are hard to follow for those of us who are a bit more stubborn when it comes to having to follow rules. There's a place for rules and rituals for sure, or not really rules but guidelines. There's always a place for guidelines, but you have to make it work and resonate for you, right? So if you decide that you want to go out and meditate with the trees tomorrow or in the next week or whatever, just try and find ways that are simple and easy for you to stick to, because there's nothing worse than creating a rigid ritual for yourself that you actually get annoyed by, trying to follow out all the different things that you got to do. So my advice is keep it simple. But so as I kept it simple by sitting next to the tree and just having my bare feet on the ground, because it's actually not so painful anymore to have my feet against the ground now. It's warming up. It's -2 today, so we're doing good in terms of bringing in that warmth. There's a lot of different things that I heard, but one of the things that I wanted to tell you all is that what I heard, we're not going to the trees to heal the trees. The trees have been calling us in order that they can heal us and help us, because as I was sat there with this tree, I was asking, what can we do to help the fact that obviously, there is things that we can do to help the planet that regard the trees, including planting trees, including clearing up the oceans, including all the environmental stuff that really does need to take place, that we all need to A, take responsibility for, and B, take action towards. But other than that, other than planting things and getting in touch with nature, what can we do? And the things that I started to hear was that you need to try and find a way to become more like us, more like a tree that stands in all types of weather and is able to stand strong and is able to not worry about the coming changes of the tides. And I heard a quote recently, and it's that all of the trees are losing their leaves and not one of them is worried. And so there's so much wisdom we can gain from just how strong these creatures really are. And what I heard is that we don't need your healing. All we need is your attention and your love and your gratitude. That's all we need. We don't need you to be sorry. We don't need you to worship us, including the sun. The sun doesn't want you to worship it. It wants you to just take notice of it. It wants you to be grateful of it. It wants you to love it. That's really our only mission, actually. Worship or asking for forgiveness to something. There's obviously some good energies that can come from that, but some of the most high vibrational energies I've ever felt is pertaining to when I just see something as my equal. I see it as my equal, and I see it maybe as a teacher, something that maybe does have something to teach me, but I also have things to teach it, or at least I have things to share with it, right? And that would be love, that would be gratitude, and that would be humility first and foremost. And that's obviously what seeking forgiveness is about, is finding humility. But I think it can stop at just simply being grateful for the trees and for the mother nature, for the skies, for the birds, the plants, the animals. Another thing that I saw is just how much this place is warming up. And I don't mean global warming, well, that's kind of ironic. I actually mean in terms of becoming awake. It's kind of like we've been in a deep, cold sleep of winter, and obviously we have just been in the season of winter, but I mean more than just the last 6 months. I mean over the course of several hundreds of years, actually. We're going through this cycle. Melchizedek talks about how around the time that Jesus was around, maybe even before that, the earth has been sort of going back on a de-evolution, if you will. Let's say that where we are now, there's a ball, and we're a few years ahead of it now, and this ball was like the sort of the lowest vibration that can sort of happen in terms of consciousness. And then over here, the other side of the oval shape, is the highest in consciousness that can happen. And as many of us know, there's been talk of this having already been existed, like say Atlantis or Lemurian times or a utopian society. And basically what's happening is we are going back to this sphere of light, let's call it. So it's a very promising concept. If it's true, who knows, but it would make sense as to why there's been a back shift and then a progression, and then a back shift and then a progression, and a back shift and a progression. It's all to do with the solar bodies and where we're moving in space and time. In times of struggle, when you feel like you don't belong on this planet, you have to remember that yes, you may be of higher consciousness, you may have come from a past life that's higher consciousness, or you may not. You may just simply be one of those types of people that just doesn't seem to be able to ground very well, or doesn't seem to feel like they really fit on this planet. Those of us who may have come from higher consciousness and who may have decided to come to Earth to help it out, we actually heeded Earth's call, you see, because if you look at what's going on the planet and what has been going on for the last 2,000 years, say, it's been pretty degrading to the planet, right? I mean, we've used up so many resources, and you know, the whole movement of big religions like Christianity and stuff, like it kind of changed some of the spiritual texts to kind of use the land to your own will, so to speak, and many other things, of course, have all played its part in the degradation of Mother Earth. And so what I heard from when I was asking the trees about this was that we were called by nature to come and help nature, and we heeded that call, and we decided that it was going to be worth it, because how can something so beautiful and so giving and so magnificent come to an end because of, well, miscommunication amongst humans, which is really at the root of all evil. It's miscommunication on all fronts, right? You know, it's deception and it's separation that causes all of the problems that we're having in today's society. And so just remember that if you feel like you don't belong here, there may be a good reason for that, but you belong to nature. This place is full of so much magic and mystery and wonder that I'm happy to say that I belong here. I belong in nature. I don't belong in society, I know that, but I belong in nature. I heeded her call for a reason. I came here because I wanted to seed something. I wanted to seed that which I know she needs, and it's love, and it's beauty, and it's, you know, even our children are going to be the greatest seeds of all. You know, the children, our generation that is yet to come, are going to be the saviors of this planet, you know. So we're seeding something really, really beautiful here, and you've got no idea how grateful this place is that you're here, especially those of you that struggle to be here, right? You know, with everything, and don't necessarily even want to be in your own body type of thing, because, you know, again, I get it. I sometimes feel like I don't want to be in my body when there's a situation that's painful or uncomfortable. I just want to leave my body. I've done a lot of work over the years to reframe that and to feel like, no, I can stand in my strength and power and still be compassionate and still have the masculine and feminine parts of me intact, centered, grounded. So the last thing I want to leave you guys with is something practical that you can do right now. With it being spring, I would suggest to you, if you haven't already, to I know some of you may have already done spring rituals and all sorts of stuff, but I would say one of the biggest things that have helped me recently is just doing a bit of spring cleaning. cleaning the house, cleaning the area, the garden, to get ready for whatever things you want to plant. Maybe changing your furniture around a bit, just to give the air in the room a bit more of a new feeling, a bit less stagnant than it was before, right? So do a bit of spring cleaning. And the other thing I really want to mention to you right now is about affirmations. I know you've probably all done plenty of affirmations before, but the thing that I want to hone in with you is that it's a process when it comes to becoming the best version of ourselves. And what I mean by it's a process is that not only does it take time, but it takes programming for it to work. You have to think of your mind, as a type of computer program that whatever you feed it, it's storing for later. And affirmations and manifestos, which I'll get into in just a moment, are the best way that you can program your brain to always continually come back to that space that feels good. Transmuting things like anger, fear, pain in a moment. You can feel them, you can express them, but then transmuting them, using them towards something that's going to be beneficial for yourself and everyone else, is some of the best medicine you can ever experience, right? Is to transform these emotions every single time. But if you catch yourself in a bit of a difficult state mentally, maybe you're in a bit of a paranoid state because of something that just happened, or maybe you're in fear body, whatever it is, I really want you to think about writing down some affirmations for yourself, and maybe even recording those affirmations so that you can hear them. You can play them every morning and every night before you go to bed, or do whatever feels comfortable for you, but the more the better, right? The types of affirmations that you should think about writing for yourself are things that start with I am, because I am is the most powerful way to start off an affirmation. I am a good person, right? You can choose anything you want, anything that empowers you. You start off with the I am. So I am a good person. The next part of that affirmation, I want you to think about why, because, or what. Why are you a good person, or what are you a good person because of? So an example would be, I am a good person because I treat people kindly. The last part of the affirmation is I feel, and this is where you bring those two qualities into play, into a usable, tangible sort of state or imagination that you can take yourself to in the moment. So, I am a good person because I treat people kindly and I feel amazing when I do it. So that's a full affirmation. So you can change those words with anything that you want. But yeah, you can think about I am, why, what, or because, and I feel. And that will give you a rounded affirmation. And if you just make a list of those that you read over every morning, or you listen to every night, you are reprogramming your brain. And it's as simple as that, right? It's as simple as that when it comes to utilizing a tool. So I'm gonna leave you now with our manifesto. I'm using my manifesto as I mentioned in my last video, a way to think about what I would like to occur, or what is already going to occur for me in a year from now. That are my dreams, that are my plans, the things that I want to see and want to take action towards. That is my manifesto. So here I've put intentions and goals 1 year from now. So I'm going to read them to you just to give you an idea of what's in my manifesto. These are just ideas for you. So my first manifesto, the one that's most important to me, is to have a fully fledged secret garden where we grow food and tend to animals. My favourite thing in the world is being amongst nature, plants, trees and animals. So it's my sacred haven. My favourite book of all time is The Secret Garden by Frances Burnett Hodgson, I think she's called. And that book is stayed with me and will continue to stay with me for the rest of my life. If you're also interested in gardens and secret gardens, I'm also reading a book at the moment called Garden Awakening, and I've forgotten the author's name. I'll link it below though. It's an amazing book all about how to awaken your garden, so to speak. My next manifesto is to have my own amazing business involving teaching, spirituality and or nature. So those are the three things that I love the most: teaching, spirituality and nature. Have lots of time to explore and go on adventures, something that's very important to me. I love more than anything going on adventures, especially in nature. It's enlivening for me, it's energizing, it brings so much passion and excitement to my world when I go on adventures. So it's to heal ancestral wounds and become the full embodiment of my true self. Exchange my creations, art, videos, courses, etc. for equivalent and self-sustaining value, which brings joy and harmony. You'll notice I didn't just write money, because money doesn't really mean anything to me just by itself, if that makes sense. But when it's something that is self-sustaining and that I can use the exchange of the money, say, to grow my own food, to pay my rent or whatever it may be, then it becomes something which brings me joy and fulfillment or harmony. And finally, my last part of the manifesto, which is important to me, is to take care of Mother Earth and prepare to bring up a family who will provide even more gifts and value to the world. So that's it for now, folks. Again, a very happy spring to you all. I believe that if you keep going, if you keep being patient throughout the rest of this Mercury retrograde especially, you will see why all of this hard work has had to take place, and it will all make sense. Why things were so intense for a while. Don't forget to keep going out and speaking to the trees, you know. It wasn't just about that one day. That one day was a catalyst for what's to come, and that's more people going outside, grounding with nature and spending quality time with the trees, sharing their love and gratitude. So, peace, love and light to you all.